Drive-By History is a new series set to premiere this fall on PBS, and it focuses on history from a very unique angle. On Discover West Orange, we're joined here by the co-hosts Cindy Perman and Ken Magos. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thanks
for having us.
Now, Cindy, tell our viewers a little bit about what the premise of Drive-By History is.
So, like most of us, we've driven past a history marker. And you might say to the person in the car with you, hey, what does that say? I wonder what happened here. So Ken and I go find those history markers. We read the sign. Then we go talk to our staff historian who gives us a little more guidance about who we might talk to find out a little bit more. And then we go on an adventure to find out a little bit more about what happened at that spot and why.
So you contact a local historian, and that's how we met, because you guys came by the Tory Corner marker, and West Orange is going to be featured on an upcoming episode featuring some history of Tory Corner. Now, we're here this morning at Glenmont, the home of Thomas Edison, and he has become the iconic image of West Orange. But my contention has always been that although he deserves his rightful place in history, there's so much more to West Orange than Thomas Edison. Now, Ken, have you found that to also be the case in other towns where local history plays a prevalent role?
Oh, absolutely. And I want to point out something to your viewers as well. The history marker that actually brought us together, at the very bottom, it has Charles Edison's name. So there is an Edison connection to Tory Corner as well. But to answer your question, yes, when we're out scouting these sites, one of the things that we look for are local historians, people who are really entrenched in the local history, the local folklore, can give us that behind the scenes, the history behind the history. So while we have a staff historian of our own, he really facilitates that process and sends us out into the field.
He really takes, you guys really take what's found in the history books and take it a step further.
We try.
Now, what are some of the other locations that you visited, Cindy?
Oh, so we've had a blast. So we have been to Millburn, New Jersey, where we've learned about its rich milling history. We've been to Fort Lee, New Jersey, where we learned, which a lot of people don't know, that the film industry, Hollywood, actually started here in New Jersey. We've been to Long Branch, which has a rich history. If not for one visit of a Mary Todd Lincoln, may not have been a destination for the rich and famous and what it is today. And there's some beautiful historic mansions there. We've learned the history of the Seeing Eye, which started right here in New Jersey. So just some really rich sites, a diversity of history. It spans from roses to film to the Revolutionary War. You just never know the places we'll end up.
Well, I would be remiss in my duties if I didn't say, you mentioned Fort Lee as being the birthplace, or New Jersey as being the birthplace of the film industry, and certainly to refine that just a bit, right here in West Orange was the first movie studio, the Black Maria, by none other than Mr. Tom Edison.
Right.
Well, now, Ken, Cindy, tell me something briefly about yourself that people are not going to find out on the series, maybe something a little bit about your background.
I was actually an opera singer for a number of years, so, if I get kind of loud on camera, people always tell me, bring it down a little bit. So that was my background. I've been a performer for years. This is something that I'm really passionate about. Cindy and I actually are both transplants to New Jersey, so for us, this was an opportunity to learn more about this wonderful state and to really take pride in the history that exists here. This is a crossroads of innovation. This is a crossroads of the revolution. This is a crossroads of so many things that we take for granted and things that people across the country can really take pride in as well.
Well, I can certainly attest to that here in West Orange. Cindy, so you're a transplant. Where did you come from?
So I grew up in Rochester, New York.
And what brought you to New Jersey?
Well, I got a job at CNBC. And so CNBC is in New Jersey. I was living in Queens at the time. And then I decided, this was during the recession, I decided it was a great time to make the move across the river and buy a house in New Jersey. And I've been here ever since.
Now, when you filled out the form, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Is this where you saw yourself?
No, but I've learned to never trust those forms. So,
well, it's often been said that history is not the exclusive property of historians, and I think that your show demonstrates that history really belongs to all those who know it. And thanks to you guys, Ken and Cindy, for joining us today on Discover West Orange and bringing to light some very important aspects of New Jersey right here at this historic location, Glenmont, the home of Thomas Edison.
Well, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Although still called Tory Corner, Little from the era was thought to remain. Homesteads and valuables were believed to have perished long ago. However, recently, a surprising discovery from the Tory era surfaced.
So, Joe, you think that Benjamin Williams owned this clock?
I know for a fact that documentation on this clock is rock solid. It's actually documented in New Jersey history. What happened is when Nathaniel gave this to Benjamin for safekeeping, this clock actually passed through several generations of the Williams family. It gone missing in 1922 and remained that way to 2008 when it was found in an Illinois flea market. The clock itself was in pieces. I have it now in a reproduction cabinet. However, these are the original clockworks. This is the original clock face that Mary Williams, Nathaniel Williams, Benjamin Williams, and countless other Williams family members actually cast their eyes upon.
So this clock could tell stories.
If this clock could tell stories, this clock could tell us exactly the discussions Mary and Nathaniel Williams had when their family split up.